I'll do one more for this one. So you have on here second story R. You're almost done, and then you're gonna play the Tales DLC. You talked about second story R already to some degree. Is there anything additional you want to share?
Yeah, I'm much further in the game now. I'm pretty close to the end. Probably like, I don't know, 5-6 hours away, I would guess.
Sure.
I've looked at like a table of contents for a walkthrough basically, and I've got like a couple dungeons left basically.
Okay.
Man, what do I want to say? This game is a bit of a roller coaster for me. There are times where I'm like really enjoying it, and there are times when the combat is just like endlessly frustrating, where I'm just like, I don't know who designed this or why they designed it this way, but it's awful. Like,
what? Okay, well, what do you mean?
I will.
Okay.
I will preface this by saying is I turned up the difficulty to the highest difficulty. There's only 3. There's easy, normal, and hard. It's called Earth, Galaxy, and Universe. So I'm on Universe, which is the highest difficulty. Because Galaxy was just like, at least early, maybe it would be fine if I did it now, but early in the game it was just such face roll. I was like two-shotting like literally freaking every enemy.
Okay.
And it was just like, it was complete face roll. It wasn't like
there was no challenge whatsoever.
Engaging or challenging at all.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
But I will say that the game is very lenient, I suppose. I'm looking for a different word, but I can't find it. The retry feature is very generous.
Yeah.
If you die in any battle, including like a normal enemy battle, you just retry and you just start the battle from the beginning, as opposed to like, and this is a game, it's an old school JRPG, so there are save points, and in any other old school JRPG,
you go back to save point.
You would get kicked back to the save point for dying to a normal battle. Maybe they would have a retry feature for a boss, but normal battles you just die and go back to the save point and it's a game over.
Yeah, sure.
So the game is very generous and lenient with the retry feature, which makes it not as bad. Obviously, because if you die, there's really no punishment for dying. You just have to redo that one.
Well, battle. Yeah, the punishment is you just retry it. That's it.
Yeah. But yeah, on Universe at least, yeah, the enemy is like, I don't know how to explain it. They're just like, they have super armor out the wazoo. They like never stop attacking. There's a dodge button, but if you mistime the dodge, you get stunned and take like quadrillion more damage when you get hit. So you just die instantly. If you fail a dodge, basically.
It's one of those games.
And it's just like, when the combat is going well, it's just like really spammy and you're mowing shit down. You're just like, you have a couple of arts on your character that are just like OP, and you just like spam that shit over and over and over again. And you have like all of like your party members like AoEing and like blasting the enemies in the same area, and you have these like assists that you can call in as well, and you're just like mowing shit down. It's just big numbers and like particle effects, and just shit's dying.
Yeah.
But when it's going badly, it is just so frustrating because the enemy's just super armor through everything. You fail a dodge, and there's this little meter that like builds up over multiple battles, and it's like this like. It's based on whatever formation you put your party in. You can get up to 3 bonuses.
Yep.
There's ones for like magic. There's like one that's like EXP and money. But the one I'm using, and the reason I'm using it, is the top upgrade for it gives you super armor, so you don't have to care when the enemy frickin' hits you.
Got it.
But if you fail a dodge or your main character dies, that meter breaks and goes back down to 0. So then you have to build it up again.
Okay.
And also the AI is just so bad.
Your party AI? Your party.
Your party AI.
I hate that. I don't know what I hate it. Like
your melee characters just like go in and they use all of their mana in like 3 seconds and they don't dodge anything and they just die. Like, and spellcasters don't do a lot of damage. And when like a melee enemy runs up on a spellcaster, they mostly just occasionally they run away, but most of the time they just stand there and die.
Yeah. I can't stand that. I yearn for the day. I yearn for a day when I can find a good tactics menu. Still haven't found it yet. Still haven't found it. It might happen. It might happen.
Well, there's Dragon Age Origins, and for me, Tales of Vesperia actually had a decent one.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to tell you it was amazing. It wasn't Dragon Age Origins, but
nothing.
It was serviceable. It did what it did.
Nothing is like a full on like multiple cases kind of interaction, multiple tactics. Nothing's been like that. Maybe it's just too hard to do.
I feel like Tales of Arise like tried to do it, but they just failed miserably at it.
I mean, I yearn for the day when I can see that again. That was like my all-time favorite. I was like, wait a minute. I can customize how they do everything. It was like every action. So I yearn for the day when I get that again. I don't think I will though. That's no, probably not. I guess it's hard. Like maybe it's just really hard, but that's the only time I've seen that where it's like, oh, I have like 7 different command cases, all these cases for my characters. Like, oh, if you get under 25% mana, now you can refresh your mana. When somebody's at under 50% health, you can heal them. When there are 3 enemies close to you, you use this spell. When it was like so many different cases. If there's an elite enemy, use this spell against them. Like,
yeah.
Apparently it's hard. So everybody's having a hard time with it.
So the AI is really bad. And I mean, And ranged enemies are just like the biggest like cancer I've ever seen in my entire life. It's just like archers and spellcasters in this game. Anything with a range attack, basically. Okay, so enemies in this game, when they attack, they like flash red, which means they're attacking you, and you're supposed to hit the dodge. You're supposed to hit the dodge button like then. And if you do it too early, it doesn't matter. Your character like hops backwards and you won't get hit by the attack. It's a melee attack. If you do the correct timing, you'll get the perfect dodge, which slingshots your character behind the enemy.
Oh, okay.
And then they lose one of their 4 like shields, which you use to break them. And when they get broken, you crit on all your attacks. And
interesting.
They're stunned for a little while.
Okay.
The problem is, again, the enemies just like don't stop attacking. Even like after you dodge, you'll like attack them and they'll just immediately turn around and slap you again. So it's just like, okay, fine.
Cool. It's just like, what the fuck? Oh my god.
Obviously and like the normal enemies like stagger sometimes. It's just like inconsistent. Yep. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Sure.
And then the so yeah, and like the dodge to me is like way too punish. Like I don't understand why failing the dodge like stuns you, and like
you fail the dodge, you just get stunned.
Well, I said that earlier. When you fail the dodge, you get stunned for like not that long, maybe a second to 2 seconds. But if there's a ton of enemies around you, or even like one enemy and they're attacking you, like you take extra damage when you're stunned, so you probably die.
Have I said before, I hate being stunned in everything. I hate it. I get why people do it, but stop. Just, it's not fun. It's really not fun to be stunned.
Especially in action
Oh, absolutely. Games. Especially in action games, like it's really not fun to be stunned. And yet we gotta keep being stunned, apparently.
Oh yeah, what I was saying about ranged enemies. So enemies, when they attack, they flash red. Ranged enemies, when they attack, they don't flash red when they attack. They just shoot.
Attack.
They just attack.
So how are you supposed to know when to die?
So
like...
you're fighting an enemy in front of you, and then there's like 5 archers in the back.
Sure.
And when they shoot arrows, they don't shoot one arrow. They shoot like a shotgun of arrows, and it's just like, pew, and it hits the whole freaking screen. And then they keep shooting, and they keep shooting. They don't stop. They're not even that squishy when you get up on them. And it's just like, I do not understand the ranged enemy design in this game. They don't flash red when they shoot. The projectiles move pretty fast, so they're hard to dodge anyways. And if you're up on them, they don't. Again, they're just like the melee enemies, so they don't stagger that often, and they'll just like point blank shoot you in the face.
Boy, this.
And if you get hit by that whole shotgun of arrows, you're probably dead.
You're painting a really poor picture of this.
Yeah,
this is not sounding appealing at all. It sounds horrible, actually. I know.
And again, like, when the combat is going well, as I said, like, it's fun. I mean, as I said, it's very spammy, but like, it's fun. It's big numbers and flashing lights and everything dying.
But man, when it goes bad, it goes bad.
If you get a battle of like 6 archers, like, I've had a few battles that were like 6 archers or like 6 mages, and it's just the worst thing I've like ever experienced in an action RPG.
Which, yeah, boy, it just, I'm not gonna lie, you painted this picture, and I'm like, wow, this all sounds awful. this doesn't sound fun at all. I just don't like. I think the one thing that kills me with these games, especially action ones, is when you get stunned. It's like the one thing that turns me off action games really fast is if I start getting stunned consistently, because it's the most unfun mechanic you can put in a game. And yet people keep doing it because they want you to be punished, and it's like it's something that, you know, but I'm just like, can we stop putting stunned in games? Like, I'm fine being slowed, but can we stop putting like a stun in the game where I basically have to put my controller down for 2 seconds and wait this out? I don't know what it is. Yeah. People like doing it, and I'm like, this is, you keep doing it, but it's not fun.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I mean, and bosses are like, some of them are fine, but I just fought, there was this boss that I fought yesterday. It was actually, it was the same boss, like, in 2 different dungeons. There's this, like, big robot.
Nice.
And its attacks were, like, it shot out this, like, energy ball in front of it, or it was more like an electric shock, but it was like a ball, in front of it. And that did a crap ton of damage, and it was hard to dodge. And then it had one where it did the energy ball on both sides of it, so even if you were behind it, you would get hit by it.
Wonderful.
But then you kill the first, well, you don't kill it. You get it down to, like, I don't know, 30, 40%, something like that. And it, like, it goes down into, like, a turret. It becomes like a turret. But it's not really a turret. The thing that it spams, it has like a little like mini laser that it shoots out occasionally at range, but the main thing it does is just have this giant radial laser AoE. So basically you can't get close to it because you just die instantly if you stand in that.
Cool.
So I just had to put all my characters' strategy on run the fuck away and then just spam ranged attacks at it for like a few minutes until it died.
That
I'm
sounds
like,
fun.
Who designed this? This is dog shit. Like, how is this fun for anybody? It wasn't challenging once you figure out that you have to tell your melee characters to run away so they don't die, and then I just spam ranged attacks until I kill it. But that's not fun.
No, it's
like,
not. Melee characters always get the short end of the stick. Because, well, being a melee character, it's a hard game to play. You always get the short end of the stick because the enemy routinely will do their little like AoE sweeps close to it. You always get the short end of the stick. Yeah, that sounds really great. This sounded like a really fun combat experience.
And again, maybe it's not so bad on like the normal difficulty Galaxy. Maybe it's just the higher difficulty, but again, at least early in the game, the normal difficulty was like completely face roll. It was like not engaging at all.
Yeah.
It feels like there should be a difficulty in between the two.
Yeah.
But anyways, I know I've been bitching for like 10 minutes or something. But I do actually like overall like the game. It's just the problems when the problems are happening, it's just
It's
incredibly
obvious. Yeah, it's obvious.
frustrating, and it's really obvious that I'm like, I don't understand why the game is designed this way. It doesn't make any sense. And I'm just like, I'm seeing like posts on Reddit, on like r/JRPG people are like, this is like the greatest remake of any game ever made, and like it's a good remake. They made a lot of quality of life like improvements. The game looks great. It sounds great. I don't know how the combat was like in the first one. I assume they updated it at least somewhat. I think the brake mechanic is new. The dodge is probably new as well. Um, but yeah, just some of like the design decisions in terms of like ranged enemies, super armor, and like some of the boss design. I'm just shrugging. I'm just like, how did you think this was like fun? I don't get it. Like,
I don't know.
So
yeah. I don't know. Maybe some people really enjoy that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, Ghost is right about that. r/JRPG loves the 90s RPGs. So
Look, they just like the old school stuff. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with loving the old school retro stuff.
I mean, it's fine. And again, I like it. I think like, again, I'm pretty close to the end, and despite all my like bitching and frustrations with it, I think the story is like, it's pretty good. It's like the first like 60% of it is pretty like generic and boring, but once you actually like go to space, it's pretty. It gets much more interesting. Again, it's not amazing, but I think the characters are also like. Again, I don't think they're anything incredible, but they're charming and they're fun. It's a fun cast of characters. Trying to think if I like this one more than Star Ocean 6. Probably. My gut is telling me that like I think this game's about a 7 for me.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And I know it was like for a while there it was sounding like I was going to be really hard on it, but like overall I do like the game. The combat just can be very frustrating. That is not all the time.
Yeah.
It is just some of the time when it is going badly and you get on the back foot, I am just like screaming at my computer screen like, why is this designed this way? This is horrible.
Yep.
Like oh, and one more thing. There are these certain like not bosses, but there's these certain like leader enemies that you fight occasionally throughout dungeons, where there will be like a kind of like bigger version of a normal enemy that has a little more health and is a little more powerful. But if you break that enemy, it like breaks all of the minions as well. But the fight also comes like either they get a buff or you get some sort of debuff. And one of the debuffs was you can't cast spells. So your spellcasters literally don't do anything. They just stand in the back and don't
They
do
get
anything.
silenced. Good stuff.
And you're not allowed. That goes away if you kill the leader, but it takes a while. And you can't hot swap party members in combat, at least as far as I found out. Like,
can your casters at least do like a regular attack? Don't they have like a regular?
They can, but the AI doesn't. They just stand in the back and don't do anything. Casters have a melee attack. I'm sure it's terrible, but again, the AI with the casters
like
don't do anything. If they run out of mana or they can't do anything because like they're silenced or something like that, they literally just stand there in the corner and do nothing.
If your game has a silence and you have casters in it, at least give the casters like staff itself like a very basic range attack where it's like it casts like even if it's like kind of weak, like it casts a little ball of fire. Like silencing your casters and then putting it into a position where they just don't do anything, like it just like you've basically just turned off some characters for a while. It's like, oh yeah, no, they just, we're gonna put them in this box over here. You're down these many characters because there's a silence mechanic. If there's a silence mechanic, at least have like the staff. It has like an elemental attack or something. It like shoots a frozen, bit of like a frozen spear, or it casts a ball of fire. Like very weak. It doesn't have to be strong, but like that way they're at least doing something. It's like if in D&D your spellcasters didn't get cantrips, so they were like Oh, I'm out of spell slots. Well, what do you do now? I guess I can hit something with my quarterstaff. Like, that's what cantrips are for. It's like, if I'm out of stuff, I can at least cast Firebolt. That's like the point. Is it's so that a spellcaster, when it's depleted of spell slots, isn't actually useless. They have things to do. Like, that's how I interpret it. It's like, well, why would you do that?
If you play as the spellcaster, you can go and bonk them with your bonk.
Yeah,
them with
you
your
can,
stick.
but like the AI should do that too.
The AI doesn't.
Yeah, so that's my problem. Like, but that's a poor design choice for me, because I'm like, you're putting them in the penalty box, and it's like I can't really mitigate that. Like, some enemy just did that. Like, I can't. There's not much for me to do. So I guess they're just in the penalty box until.
No, yeah, you just have like, well, for a while I was using two spellcasters. I was using the healer and then the offensive spellcaster, and then I found that, like, honestly, the spellcasters don't do that much damage in this game, so I just swapped for like a third physical character.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm just using the healer and like 3 physical characters. But yeah, in those battles, it also, like, it shuts off your healer too.
Yeah.
So like you don't have a healer for that battle. She just stands in the back and doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like,
which is.
And if the game had like a, you could swap characters in and out during battle, I would be fine with it, because I could just swap her out for that battle.
Yeah, sure.
But I don't know when I go into the battle until the battle starts that I'm gonna get that
Gonna happen.
Modifier. Yeah, that modifier where, like, spells don't work.
Yeah, you don't know that. It's just ridiculous. It's just like.
Yeah. So there's just some like head scratcher design decisions with this game that I just think make the combat, like, not fun occasionally. Overall, I think the combat, like, it's fluid, it's fun, it's flashy. But again, when you get in a situation where it's not fun, it's really not fun, and I'm just like scratching my head and slamming my head against the desk, being like, why did you design the game this way? Why is the AI so bad? Why do the enemies have super armor all over the place? Why are ranged enemies such freaking cancer? Why does the dodge stun me when I fail it? Like, shouldn't the punishment for failing the dodge just be that, like, I get hit because I failed the dodge?
Just get hit.
Like,
it's not like you get your stun. Like, that just, like, adds insult to injury.
I get stunned and then insta die because I failed the dodge.
It's just like adding it on. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I guess they wanted to make it so you couldn't, like, just, like, mash spam the dodge, but, like, I don't know, like,
just do have, like, a dodge cooldown then. Just like, oh, did you fail the dodge? You get a little cooldown. Don't stun the person. This is, I don't understand. I can't stress this enough. I don't understand why game makers put stun in games. For you. Like, I don't understand it. I understand why it's like, it's a mechanic that people use, like, you get stunned. It's just not fun. It's just like,
I don't like.
I
know status ailments are like an RPG thing, and I think they're fine in, like, turn-based RPGs, because, like, it's turn-based and you can, like, use an item. Like, you can use an item in action RPGs.
Sure,
too,
you can.
But like, I dislike status ailments in action RPGs. Other than, I guess, like, the ones that do, like, dot damage, those ones I guess are fine because it's just damage. But, like, anything that, like, basically inhibits, like, your movement or, attacks or what, like, I'm just like, why does this exist? You just, like, this is just stupid. Like, it's not fun.
Here's this thing, less fun. And it's like, well, I can use items and stuff, but can I just not be stunned? Can you just not have stun? Like, slow? Sure, whatever. I'm slowed. Got it. Or, like, I'm bleeding. I'm taking some bleeding damage. I'm taking poison damage. Sure, why not? Stunned. Okay, just put your controller down for 2 seconds and wait this out. That's how I feel. And I'm like, okay. We're just like, I had a good flow going, and I'm done. What?
Like, in Tales and, like, in this, where, like, you can kind of like, when you throw an item in those games, like, when you see that happen, you just, like, open up the menu and you just
can pause
the
it,
item
sure,
to, like, cure it, so it's fine. But in, like, stuns in Kingdom Hearts are, like, the worst thing ever, because it's a solo action game.
Exactly.
So when you get stunned, you literally can't do anything. You just stand there and wait for the stun to wear off, or wait for you to get smacked in the face. It's just like, why? I don't get it.
Yeah,
Like,
I can't do it. Anyway.
so yeah, that's second story R. Again, I spent most of the time bitching, I know, but overall I actually do like the game.
Mhm.
It's just, as I said, when the combat is against you, it's rough
Oh yeah,
for
of
a little
course.
bit. There's just some head scratching design decisions in my
Yep.
opinion with the combat that,
Yeah.
again, maybe on the normal difficulty it's not as bad, I'm not sure, but
Okay.
certainly on the highest difficulty it's painful.
Got it. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see. I mean, I've been playing more Super Mario Wonder.
Yep.
It's a fun game. I don't know. I talked about before. Like, I think the Wonder powers are wacky and it's great. It's just a very fun game. I like 2D platformers, so it hits the right notes. There has been one challenging level. There has been one challenging level that I died 20 times on. It was hard. I appreciated it because it wasn't like unfairly hard. So I really enjoyed it. That one level was really tough. I haven't come across any level though that I found was challenging besides that one. So there's been one challenging level. Everything else has been great. So I don't have much else to say. It's really good. It's a really fun 2D it's really fun 2D platform game. I love those, and I think it looks great, plays great. Wonders are so wacky and fun. So I think that's a great game for I think anybody who likes Mario or likes 2D's platforming games. It's super fun. I played some of the DLC for Age of Wonders.
Yep.
I don't have much to say because I like started a skirmish and I'm not too far into it, but all the changes that I've seen so far, like visually that I notice, have been great. And forging weapons is cool. So I find the changes that were made with like the race traits and things like that.
The traits, yeah.
Those have been great. I am playing as a Reaver, so I'm trying that. I think I played. Yeah, pretty sure I started as a Reaver. I'm playing as the bird people, so I think it's all really cool. And I think the changes for the UI and all that have been great. Don't have a lot of complaints yet, because I'm not too far in. So overall, everything has been good. I do have a small, like, super minor complaint. I feel like they haven't added any more additional customization options for the your like leader unit. Your leader unit basically has had the same customization options as day one release. Can I get like 2 more hairstyles, maybe? Possibly a helmet?
I thought I read that they put more stuff in the like the upgrade tree, the meta progression upgrade
The Paragon.
tree with this.
The Paragon
the
tree.
Paragon.
Okay, that's fine. But please put some free ones in outside of Paragon. I don't play this every day. The Paragon tree is great. I like it. Can I get some non-Paragon tree options? Like just a couple. Like give me a couple extra. Like I bought DLC. Can I get like a couple? It's a super minor complaint. I'll check the Paragon tree after this. I didn't know that part, but everything else I've experienced so far has been great. The UI has been better. Forging weapons, I already mentioned, is better. It's cool. Like, forging weapons is cool. But yeah, I'm sure as I play through this skirmish, I'll have more to say. But it's Age of Wonders. Age of Wonders is a fun game. I will say the Reaver class has a really good scout. The scout for the Reaver, well, I guess like class, but like I don't know. The society trait, the culture trait. Thanks. The scout is really good. It's like a flying like scout machine. And it's like just not inhibited by anything for movement. So you can just like fly over a mountain really easily.
That seems pretty powerful for early.
It's a very good scout unit. It's so good. So that's like one thing I noticed immediately. I was like, wow, this scout is really good. You can like check the whole map out really fast. Because that's the problem, is like other scouts you have to like slowly go over the mountain. This guy just flies right. He just can fly right over it. So I would say the Reaver Scout is the best scout. It's a great unit. Great, early game thing to have. Just my first impression of the Reaver culture. Yeah, so that's been good. That DLC's been, it's fun. I know you're doing other stuff, but might be worth checking out. I didn't see any new story missions, but that's because I still haven't beaten the last story mission before.
Yeah, I think there's supposed to be two new ones.
Okay, I'll have to check again.
And I would assume you don't have to beat the last
one.
one to
I hope
get
not.
access to it.
I don't want to pull my hair out again for at least a little bit longer. Last thing I did is I've played a little bit of Cyberpunk. So a little bit, like not too much. I got through like the first act of the game, I'll say. I won't talk about anything involving like the story because I'm not really at a point where I feel like I can say anything and make any judgments yet. But this game still has bugs, obvious ones. The T-posing is still a thing in the game. That being said, my experience playing it has been good so far. The actual combat situations, like you can do stealth, you can just go in guns blazing. I have a baseball bat, so I just beat people with a baseball bat. I will say, like, nice numerous ways to deal with combat. I like the hacking, like you can hack and distract enemies and then do a stealth kill. Like, there's a lot of different paths to take on combat, which I appreciate. And I think that I'm fairly certain right now that the game is way more stable than even last year, given they did like this 2.0 update. So I've only run into a couple bugs that are like, okay, there's a character T-posing. Outside of that, like Cyberpunk has been pretty fun. I got it on a sale, so I've been playing that a little bit, but my most of my play has been Super Mario Wonder and then Age of Wonders. But yeah, I'll at some point I'll probably have more to say with Cyberpunk. But the beginning of the story, the only thing I'll say is there's some betrayal. There's some betrayal happening, and like the after Act 1, like the big event that occurs is your character is put into a situation where it's like it's a serious life or death situation, and they have to find a solution to not die. That's what I'll say. So there's a betrayal. Like I think the pieces of the first act that they walk you through, and the I don't know what it's called. I'm just gonna call it a brain dive. You do like you can like go into somebody's memories, and you can like investigate through their memories. Like you do like an investigation, like a detective thing through their memories. That's really cool. So overall, I've enjoyed playing that here and there. Don't have more to say on the story though, because I just got out of Act 1 and I'm just messing around. But yeah, it's still got some bugs, and they're funny. They're funny bugs. Nothing game breaking yet, but funny bugs. So that's it. Those are the three things I've been doing. Super Mario Wonder's great. Age of Wonders has been good so far, and Cyberpunk, I can't say it's been great. I think it's been like good, but
Good.
I don't know. We'll see. My impression of this game is I think I'm gonna come out of it thinking it's a good game, but it's not a home run yet. It's not striking me as a home run game. Like to me, Super Mario Wonder is a home run because like I enjoy playing it every day and it's great. Cyberpunk, I'm like, okay, there's some fun pieces of this, but it's not hooking me. It's not hooking me yet. So I'm kind of waiting for that to happen. So yeah, that's it. That's it for my end. Like I've only been doing those three things, and I want to play more Age of Wonders. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
And I like play Super Mario Wonder on my streams. So anyway.
Yeah.
That's it.
I do want to try the Age of Wonders DLC when it probably won't be for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got finishing up Star Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna be playing the Tales DLC, which just came out on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't started it yet, though. Ghost has played a chunk of it, and well, he's not. Okay, he didn't say it was bad, and it doesn't sound like it's bad.
Okay.
But it seems a little low effort.
Really?
Like, there was effort put into some things.
Okay.
Like, there's a new story, there's a new character. Yeah. There's
I assume there's
obviously
new area.
They brought the voice actors
Yeah, of
back,
course.
and there's like voice acting for all the new skits and all the new stuff.
Probably new area.
But apparently, at least early on, you are literally just running through like the exact same areas that you did in the original game. Like, you just go through the five, like the 5 realms again, doing quests and side quests, and there's like basically no new enemies. Maybe in like, yeah, like even some of the bosses so far were just like repeat bosses from
you'd
the
think
main
they'd
game.
have put a
Like,
new map in there, maybe like
yeah.
1 or 2.
I mean, I think there'll be at least like 1 or 2 new dungeons or something, probably closer to the end. But like, apparently the early part of the game again is just like you're going through the same like regions that you went through in the main game again, and
Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't feel like it's new, it's stat padding. We're stat padding, boys. We got stat pad and get that hours, and it's easier, to use content that's already you're recycling. So I don't like the fact that you're just rebeating some similar bosses. Basically, like you can't recycle too much in a DLC. The whole point of it is supposed to be like.
And there were already a ton of like recycled bosses. There were like recycled bosses even in the main game. Like, there were some bosses that were like repeat bosses in the main game. There was a couple bosses that turned into like normal enemies late in the game that like you just fought over and over and over again. And apparently that one of those bosses shows up again in the DLC, and it's like, man, I'm tired of fucking fighting this thing.
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't instill a lot of confidence when you get that first impression of playing it. When you're like, this is all stuff I've done. Like, I did it in the main playthrough. Like, I don't want to do that again. It's like if it was in like small pieces, like if there was like a reason, like, okay, we have to go back to this area because we have to talk to this special person, but we're going to focus all the play in the new areas. Like, you're focusing all your play in the new areas and with the new stuff, but like you can go back because maybe you have to talk to somebody you had known before. Like, that to me is fine. But if like the first part of your DLC is just like, yeah, just replay all the stuff you already did, that doesn't instill a ton of confidence. It feels like, you feel like, okay, well, if 25% of this is like 25 whatever percentage of this is just stuff I've already done, that doesn't feel particularly good.
I think it's gonna be more than 20%.
Well, I don't know. That's the thing, is like, if it's more than that, like, that's scary. Like, if it hits 50%, like that feels like I don't want to like judge it because I haven't played it, but like if it's 50% just recycled stuff, that starts to feel like I got ripped off. That's what I would feel. I feel like I'm feeling a little bit ripped off here because I'm just getting the same stuff I already had before. Even if the other 50% is new. Because isn't this DLC? How much is it? Is it like?
It's $30.
Yeah, that would make me feel like I got ripped off. It was like, yeah.
So if you here's the interesting thing. Okay. Obviously, there's I'm pretty sure if you buy it, like, if you haven't bought Tales of Arise, if you can buy both the game and the DLC like as a bundle for like $60, which is the original asking price of the game. But if you already own the game, then you have to buy the DLC for $30. So,
and if 50% of it is just recycled stuff, I would feel like I got ripped off. Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, I got ripped off a little bit. Got ripped off a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, everything I've heard about it is basically like it's a perfectly like fine and serviceable DLC. Yeah. If you like Tales of Arise, if you like the combat, if you like the characters, if you like the story of Tales of Arise, you'll probably enjoy this, and it's probably worth your money. Sure. But there's definitely plenty of recycled content. They didn't add anything to the combat. It's exactly the same.
That's just my opinion, though. I'm sure if you're a fan, you're like,
no,
yeah, this is great. Like,
no,
this
yeah.
is still
I
great.
mean, and I really like Tales of Arise, so I'm looking forward to playing it, to be honest. And I just know what I'm getting. I know what I'm getting. It is not what it is not, and what I was hoping it was gonna be, which is maybe this was a little too much hopium, was like a Xenoblade DLC where they made like a whole new area with like a whole new set of characters and like a whole new story and like all this extra like
Yeah.
stuff. And this is like, and the part about it that it's like kind of disappointing to me that they like recycled the world from the original game is that like, and I don't want to spoil it for you because I know you may go back and play it at some point, but like the world is not the same after the end of the game. Like they make it seem like the world is like different,
Sure.
like that it had changed, and now they just recycled all the same like
the same stuff. So you're like,
from...
yeah, that's what I said. I feel like I got ripped off. That's me though. Like I think anybody else who was really into Tales of Rise game, like really was interested in the story, big fan of the series, I think you're just buying it anyway.
Yeah,
and that's fine if you enjoy it. But like for me, when I think like DLC, especially one that's like $30, I only want to experience new stuff. If I start to experience too much recycled stuff, I'm gonna feel like you did a shortcut and you caught me on something.
Yeah.
Most DLC that I pay for that's like $15 or more, my expectation is I should only experience new stuff. Even if the new stuff isn't necessarily super long. It doesn't have to be like a 20-hour epic of a DLC. Like I was actually perfectly fine with the $10 to $15 Mass Effect 2 Shadow Broker DLC. It was all new stuff, new mission, like everything, like all of it was new. It probably was like overpriced, but
it was like 3 hours.
But it was only 3 hours, and it was overpriced probably for what it was. But at the time, I was perfectly fine with that because it was like, oh, this is all new stuff. You get all new stuff. It's like you also get the Shadow Broker ship at the end of it. Like it's all new stuff, and you get to do like if you happen to have like a relationship with Liara, you get to do some things there. So to me, that was great. When I hear if I was to play that, but the first hour and a half of it was like, you gotta go to Tuchanka and then go over here into Tuchanka and the same stuff you did before. I feel like I'm already done this. Like I already went to Tuchanka. I already went to here. I don't want to do that again. Like give me new experiences. So that's where I'm thinking like, if you're like telling me, yeah, you're just gonna go through all the same areas and fight some recycled bosses, the same enemies. You just do that for like, 5 to 10 hours. I'd probably be like, yeah, no, thank you. No, thanks. I'm good. I'll just watch a YouTube video at that point. I don't think that's for me. It's too much recycled stuff. That I already did it.
My sense is, well, yeah, my sense is that this was like as I said, like kind of low effort DLC that like they're probably working on the next game, but like it's not going to be ready for at least a few more years probably. And they wanted to get, and they saw the sales number for Arise, and they want to get a little more out of it.
But at the same time,
because they said when the game came out, they asked the producer if they were going to do DLC for the game, and he said, no, we're not planning to do DLC.
So somebody said, you're doing one.
And 2 years later, it seems like a higher up was like, hey, by the way, that game sold really well. Yeah, you're gonna do some DLC for that game.
He opened the door. Like, so we're doing DLC, right? And they're like,
yeah.
We said we weren't going to plan it. Let me just ask that again. You're doing DLC, right?
Yeah.
And then he pulled out a gun.
So
and was like,
to me, it's probably like a pretty like small team, kind of low effort, like DLC, to please the higher ups and make some money off of the suckers like me who love Tales of Arise and are gonna buy a kind of a cash in $30 DLC for it.
And you know what? So. There's nothing wrong, by the way, with wanting to buy that for anybody. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Like, absolutely, like. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just can only speak from my perspective. So if you're like buying this DLC and you're perfectly satisfied, like you're perfectly satisfied. That's awesome. And maybe the last 50% that's new is going to make it all worth it. But it could have been the case where it was just a small team. And the small team was like, well, we don't have the resources to do like a X number of hour like new complete experience. We got to stat pad it out. Let's stat pad it out with some recycled content, and then we'll put the new stuff at the end. Because we have to hit, I don't know if they have to hit like a quota. They're like, oh, it has to be 20 hours. Then, you know, because you have to justify the cost too. You can't give somebody like a 5-hour DLC for $30.
Charge $30, yeah.
Can't do that. You know, so they probably had to stat pad it because of that. So I love stat padding it. That's the best way to put it for me.
And of course, as Bamco does, there was some sort of deluxe edition like upgrade with a bunch of like new costumes and stuff like that. That, you know,
gotta check those out.
Man, Bamco loves to. They're all they did a bunch of I don't know about all of them, but they did a set of cameo costumes where they put like the new characters in old costumes.
Oh, that's cool.
I think most of them look good, but like to me, one whiff was they put Shion in Velvet's outfit, and like that just doesn't fit her character at all. That outfit.
No, it doesn't.
Like,
but I mean,
but Booba.
Nostalgia, boobs,
and Booba.
Nostalgia and boobs. Powerful combo.
Speaking of low effort cash grabs, just real quick before we probably wrap up here, Modern Warfare 3.
Horrible.
I know we talked about it last week with the campaign.
Yeah.
But
clown game.
The multiplayer, like, you know, the multiplayer, they literally just recycled Modern Warfare 2.
No, they didn't.
The old Modern Warfare. Yes,
no, they didn't. You can't tell me that.
There's no new maps in the game. It's just the old modern, like 2009 Modern Warfare 2. It's just all those maps. That's
no fucking
all. That's
way.
the maps.
No way.
Like, yeah, that's what they did. It's all those maps. It's high rise and favela and
No new maps. Really?
No, there's no new maps. They're all
the
Modern Warfare 2 2009 like remade. Obviously, they look better because it's, you know, a PS5 game. You know, but
can I say something crazy though? I'm like, for me, first off, I want to say that's like you just got scammed, people. Like, I cannot believe how hard they scammed you. Now I want to say I loved those maps, so I would be perfectly fine with it. But like, I can also see like, man, these people got scammed. They got a shitty campaign. You got a recycled multiplayer. I'm sure there's like some new stuff outside of the maps in the multiplayer, to be fair, but like, that's a scam.
Oh, yeah, there's like, I'm sure there's new gun. There's like new gun.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't recycle everything in multiplayer, but like all the gameplay is like very similar to the new Modern Warfare 2. I'm sure they added some new guns. You know, whatever. It has the new like gunsmith system where you put like 5 attachments on like every weapon and whatever. So, you know, that stuff. But so it has some of the new bells and whistles from the new games. But again, the maps are all the same maps from 2009 Modern Warfare 2.
For me, like, I like those maps, so I'm like, for me, I'm good.
I like those maps. Yeah, but, I mean, I love Wasteland and.
But like, man, I feel like Activision, like Bobby Kotick's send-off, his send-off is, I'm just gonna give them a rehashed. I'm just gonna recycle everything.
I mean, well.
Oh, not everything.
So yeah, the reports that I've seen, and I think we talked about this last week, is that this game was originally supposed to be a DLC. It was supposed to be a DLC for Modern Warfare 2.
Oh.
For new Modern Warfare 2.
Okay.
They were given 16 months to work on it.
Okay.
It's done by Sledgehammer, and this apparently happened with Vanguard too, which was the last game Sledgehammer did, which was also bad.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They got like a year and a half or so, like something similar.
They're not getting a full dev window.
And I mean, so yeah, it was supposed to be a DLC originally, and then at some point down the line, Bobby was like, "Nope, you're making the new Modern Warfare 3. It's gonna be a full $70 game. You have 16 months to do it. Like, go." And it was originally supposed to be DLC. Apparently, Sledgehammer pitched doing Advanced Warfare 2, and that got shot down.
Yeah, no, of course it's not going to happen. Of course it's not going to happen. I can't believe they tried to pitch anything but a Modern Warfare game. Of course Bobby's going to shoot that down. He's like, there's no chance an Advanced Warfare was going to go through. At this point, I think Microsoft, I'm just tying this in here, Microsoft's already mentioned we're gonna maybe slow down the Call of Duty windows. They need to. They desperately need to. I think they need to take like a year off.
Well, maybe next, like for next year, it could already be like in development
sure.
and ready to go for next year. Because I think the next one should be a Treyarch.
Yep.
But maybe Treyarch says to Microsoft, "Hey, we need more. Hey, we need more time." And Microsoft's like, "Okay, we can take a year off. That's fine."
I wish they would. I wish they'd take a year off. I mean, this game is just it's a travesty. It just sounds like a complete travesty.
Supposedly, like gameplay wise, it's still Call of Duty. It's still like fun to play.
Yeah,
and like I've watched some streams with the multiplayer. I'm like, yeah, this looks like Call of Duty. It looks pretty fun. And Call of Duty, like by default, is pretty fun. But I'm like, yeah, I recognize all these maps from like 15 years ago. I played this game. I played this game already.
Favela,
it's just shinier now. Yeah, Quarry,
like Favela, Quarry,
Skid Row, the High Rise,
the one that's like the house. There's like a big house in the middle of the map.
Oh, Estate. Wasteland, Derail,
and then the airport. The airport was another.
Yeah, Terminal.
That's all just Modern Warfare 2 maps.
Yeah. No, there's no new maps. It's just the Modern Warfare.
Which is crazy because isn't this supposed to be Modern Warfare 3? So you didn't even get the number. Like, if you wanted to just recycle maps from the Modern Warfare, you should have just taken the Modern Warfare 3 maps and recycled them.
And honestly, as a DLC for like $30,
this would have been fine.
I think this would have been a good package.
This would have been great.
Hey, you've still got Modern Warfare 2, which people generally liked, and you just slap in the old. Like, people like those maps. Yeah. But $70? It's like, this is not a new game. This is a deal. This is a deal.
This campaign with this set of maps for $30, I think would have. It's not like the campaign would be better. It's still shitty, but it would have softened the blow.
It's more justifiable.
It would have softened up that blow of being like,
you have the like 4 hour, like, you know, kind of recycled Warzone map campaign, right, for $30, and then you bring a bunch of old maps back for like a $30 to maybe $40 DLC. Like I think people would have been like less upset about it, but like this is just, you know,
they would have been far less upset, and they would be like, yeah, this is reasonable. Instead, we get this Bobby Kotick send-off special.
Yep, Bobby Kotick's send-off golden parachute extravaganza, Modern Warfare 3.
He's like, I need a little bit more cash when I get out the window. So ridiculous. I mean, hey man, Call of Duty bros still will buy it. You know they're still gonna buy it. It doesn't matter.
I'm sure it's still sold hotcakes. I saw people
buy it. I had somebody buy it, play the campaign, and I was like, you didn't play the campaign, did you? And they said, oh yeah, I did. I didn't like it. It was bad. I'm like, I could have told you that if you had just... I should have told you that like days ago. And you
could have watched a 20-minute video on YouTube. You could have seen that the campaign was bad.
They were too sold on the previous game's campaign, apparently. And so I was like, you should have just... I think they're going to refund it. But I was like, man... I also feel bad, like, for Call of Duty people that just play Call of Duty for the campaign now. I feel bad for you because you're just going to get this, like... Some campaigns are going to be good, but man... Then you get this half-assed, terrible one. It's got to just be the worst feeling. Just be like, oh, well, great. I get to play this piece of shit. I did watch the Moist Critical video, too.
Yep.
Looked awful. The whole thing looked awful.
That was a fun video.
The whole campaign looked awful. It looked awful. I just couldn't believe what I was watching.
Did I do a good job of describing the spoiler moment?
Oh yeah, the spoiler moment's fucking stupid. Like, the whole story is terrible. Like, the whole point of it is like, we're gonna chase Makarov. Oh, we didn't get him. Great. So what did we accomplish? Well, we get to kill this general at the end. It's like, what a stupid story. That's an AI generated story.
And one of our favorite characters from the franchise got shot.
That's an AI story right there. If you want to say that this is why you don't AI generate your story. You're Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Don't AI generate your stories. That's
I kind
an
of feel
AI
bad.
story.
I kind of feel like I don't know. I feel like Sledgehammer's getting a really bad reputation for releasing crap Call of Duty games, and it seems like it's not all their
Oh,
fault.
I'm
They're
sure it
getting
isn't.
like they're getting really crunched
Oh, of
by
course they are.
Bobby, where he's like, yeah,
Of course, Bobby's crunching him up, and he and Bobby sucks. I'm so glad he's gonna be out of there. He's just ruining these things. Numbers wise, I'm sure it's actually not ruined. Call of Duty's probably selling like never before, but man, you see the quality and you're like, yeah, it's Call of Duty, but the campaign, look at this. Ooh.
yeah.
Look at this multiplayer.
Again, if Call of Duty was on Game Pass, I would probably like play the multiplayer
absolutely.
for a little bit because I'm like, yeah, it looks like Call of Duty. It looks pretty
Yep.
fun because it's Call of Duty and like their base like mechanics are like the shooting's
Yep.
good. It's fun to play. Like
And those maps,
whatever.
like those are good maps.
I like those maps.
Those are good
yeah.
maps. So.
But I sure ain't paying. I wouldn't pay 30 or 40, but I sure ain't paying 70 for this crap.
No,
Like,
you're wasting your money if it's 70. I mean, I pay 30. 30 sounds reasonable, given that's what DLC probably would have cost. I'd pay 30. That's what I'd go to if I wanted it. I'd pay 30. That would be my max, is what I'll say. Because I think for 30, I could get $30 worth out of that multiplayer. I wouldn't touch the campaign though, unless I had a death wish. I think I just focused the multiplayer.
I mean, might as well just get your balls tased and play that campaign.
I think I'd prefer that balls tased thing like that. I mean, it's obviously more painful, but like, come on, like,
yeah.
Do I really want to sit through 4 hours of that campaign? No, that's torture. That's the next form of torture. Like, you're not going to waterboard me, right? No, I'm going to make you play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 story. You wouldn't do it.
Campaign.
You wouldn't. You
on the highest.
You have to beat this. Like,
you have to beat it, and you have to beat it.
You have to beat this, or we'll never let you go.
You sick
bastard. You are a monster.
So yeah, as much as I'm gonna complain about the Tales of Arise DLC being a bit of a low effort cash grab, at least I'm not Modern Warfare.
Yeah, no, Modern Warfare 3, that is the cash grab. Like, Tales DLC, that's one thing. This Modern Warfare is one of the biggest cash grabs. You'll see.
Yep.
It's not. I'm not gonna say it's a scam level cash grab, but it's a cash grab.
It's pretty.
Because scam level is like Dream World is the king of scam level.
Yeah, that's true. Okay,
it's
not a scam. There is a game to play there, and like again, the multiplayer looks fun enough because it's still Call of Duty multiplayer.
So I can't call it Dream World, but I'm like right under Dream World. It's under that.
It's a step. It's a step above.
Yeah, Dream World is like. I should look that game up again.
Actually a scam.
I think that game is still being worked on. I have to check up on that game.
Please.
I think Dream World is still being worked on.
The game is being worked on.
I still have to look this up. Does Dream World still exist? Well, that's a theme park. I have to, man. I need to look up if Dream World is still a thing. I wonder if they're still hiring too. I think they're still hiring people. They must still be around. Which is crazy, by the way. It is. It says it's still active on Y Combinator. That's nuts. Oh, wait. They have like a video. They have a video that came out 5 months ago. It says 2 years, 2023 versus 2021 comparison. I'm going to watch this. I'm going to watch this later. This is great. Love that stuff. Anyway, I have nothing else. I'm going to watch that Dream World video and just laugh at like their comparison and be like, there's no way this comparison is going to go well, right? I'm ready. Came out 5 months ago. There's still work. Dream World is still in development. Somehow, some way it's still in development. So, anyway, I don't have anything else. I'm good. Okay. Let's